Thanks for being here. Does anybody have any expectation for today at all? Yes. Because that will definitely help if you have expectation on what we're looking to do today. I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction, and I'm going to do a quick review of some of the things that we covered at the Sunday event. So far, well, I'll ask this a little bit later as well. Did anybody not hear me on Sunday? This is your first time to hear me? Good. We got some new folks here. That's great. And so you're going to enjoy it as we step into it. InVision is a ministry that we started to help discover belief systems, and we'll be addressing more of that as we go along, and we'll be finding out that belief systems dictate a lot of our lives. They actually run as subconscious programs, and we're here to explore those and get a tremendous amount of breakthrough. Would anybody like a large amount of change in a short period of time? I mean, maybe a large amount of change in your finances, maybe a large amount of change in your relationships, in your marriage, in your spirituality. I know I did, and many of you heard my story and what it was like to go through my journey in all of this. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is have fun. Okay, we're serious enough in life. Okay, and I've got some pictures of some kids there jumping, playing with balloons. I mean, when was the last time you acted like a kid? I mean, don't you get to act like a kid at work, Rob? I mean, don't they appreciate it when you come in and you're dirty and you're giggling? Typically it just doesn't really fit in our grown-up world, does it, to be like a kid? And so I'm going to ask us to kind of begin to step into a process of being like a kid this weekend. Let's don't take this too serious. Let's don't take ourselves too serious. And let's have fun, getting involved with this and stepping into it. Can we all agree on that? Because the more you have fun, it's easier. Things flow in and out of you a lot easier. Kids learn by having fun. It's amazing watching little babies. They learn by sticking everything in their mouth. Here they are, they're little babies. They're kind of, some scientists say they're blank slates, but I don't believe so, because you can see their personalities the moment they're there. But they're learning, they're touching, they're feeling, they're exploring. There's no restraint to how they're taking in information and how they're exploring the world. They have no, well, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? Does this taste good? Does it not taste good? They're completely just taking it all in. And so we want to be like kids tonight and just take it all in over this next day and some of the time that we'll be spending together tomorrow. And I think it'll really help us take it all in. So we'll go to slide 3 real quick. And the question that I want to start with is, where are you? I mean, how many of you in the malls like those "you are here" signs? I mean, here's a joke right here. It says, "You're here, deal with it," right? I mean, how many of you feel like that? You came here you are, deal with it. The other one says, "You're here, but you should be here." That's how it is in the mall. I mean, my phone, I'm on the phone more in the mall than anything else because my wife's over here and I'm over here and she's calling me and we're navigating. But I'm one of those kind of guys, the first thing I do when I go to a new mall is I go to one of those signs. And I'm looking for what? The "you're here" arrow that says you're here in relation to the rest of the mall. So the question I want to ask you as we start out, and again, if you didn't have notes, you may want to grab a note card or something. We have some cards in the back, some pens in the back. You can feel free to grab those if you don't have one, because the first question I want to ask you is, why are you here? And maybe write that down. What is the goal? We're going to be coming back at that again and again. If you said, "Kyle, I came today. I gave up a Saturday. I could have been watching cartoons this morning. I could have been mowing the yard. I could have been, doing something else. Could have been playing golf, whatever. I could have been sleeping in. But I chose to come here for a reason." I want you to capture that reason down on there. And Alex, we're going to play our video here in just a second. Because one of the main things I want to share with you as we go through this process, we're actually going to be exploring our heart. And we're going to be looking at what's in our heart. And we're going to be looking at what it is to explore and to believe again, to stretch out. And this is the first kind of disclaimer. This is the first thing I really want to share with you. Hope deferred makes the what? Heart sick. But a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. It feeds us. It nourishes us. It sustains us. And when you come to events like this, we start dealing with hopes and dreams and goals. And one of the first programs, when the first lenses come up, is, man, I don't want to go there. I believed for this 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, and, I'd like to put this down on the piece of paper, but gosh, if I put it down, he may make me read it in front of somebody, and if I read it, I'm going to be responsible, or my husband's going to read it, or my person next to me is going to read it, those kind of things. And I want to tell you, I understand. I've got goals and dreams right now that if I was sitting in your seat and someone was asking me to write them down, there would be a pit in my stomach. That, do I really want to stretch out there for that one again? My hope has been deferred on this for a while. And, I just about thrown in the towel on that dream. Does that make sense? And so we're going to be dealing not just with those dreams, all kinds of dreams, but I want to encourage you to step into a level of hope this weekend. I'm going to start off with a movie, and probably many of you have seen this little 5-minute clip, and I've watched it probably 20 times. And every time I watch it this morning, and I cried watching it in the hotel room because it touches my heart. And so many of you have seen this, and I will crank it on here in just a second, Alex, but this is, how many of you have seen the Susan Boyle video with her singing on England's Got Talent or whatever it was, right? Today was the first day that I actually downloaded the words to that song. So I'm going to give you the words to this song that you sing, and if you sing this, you'll probably tear up again maybe, and if you haven't seen it, then it'll probably bless you. But there's this lady, you're going to see her on the screen in a few moments when I ask them to play the video, and she comes on, and how many of you have seen America's Got Talent, and then you come up and you're singing or you're dancing and you're doing all those things. Think about that today. This is your day. I'm Simon. Or, I'm not as pretty as the girls, so I've got to be Simon, I'm Simon, and your talent is what you just wrote on the piece of paper. What you're bringing to the stage today and going to display in front of all of these people, and I'm not going to make you do that, so don't get nervous. I saw some people already leaving, that's the talent that you're bringing. That's the seed of the kingdom of God that's in you that you're bringing to this event. Does that make sense? And imagine if you had to stand on stage today and shout your dream. Matter of fact, live your dream. Let's say that you want to have a level 10 marriage. Literally, you'd have to bring your spouse up on stage and somehow display to convince the audience and the judges that you had a level 10 marriage. Or let's say financially, you got up and you were able to display that you had the financial skills of a Donald Trump. Or let's say that your gift and talent, government, whatever that may be, you had to prove that you were going to be the next chairman and then the next governor and then the next this and give such an amazing speech that Obama called you and said, can you make all my speeches for me from here on out? And so that's the level of attachment I want you to have to these goals, because we're going to be drawing out of you that dream that God put inside of you. God fearfully and wonderfully made you in your mother's womb. And what we want to discover is that dream. Now, some of you right now look like you just had an enema. Okay? You really do. You're like, your faces are puckering because you're like, ugh, because that hope deferred. It really is. It's a bitter root that lives on the inside of us when those hopes go undeferred, and it starts stirring up the heart again when we want to believe. And so we're going to be very gentle. We're going to be very loving and caring as we go into this area of the heart, because, guys, we're going to be doing, in one form, heart surgery. And you want it to be a sterile and safe environment to go there and to explore the things of the hearts. And those are our objectives this week, is to step into some of that. Does that make sense? And so I want you to read, I'm going to read the words of this song that Susan Boyle's going to sing. And this is a lady, if you haven't seen this video, this is awesome, who steps on stage with her gifts, who decides to bring it out of the closet and play full on, leaving nothing left, completely out there, completely giving herself to her dream and destiny. And she sang the song, I Dreamed a Dream. I want you to listen to these words. And matter of fact, I'd like for you to close your eyes. And I'd like for you to think about your dream